Fans, ich bin Sammy Steigert, Pitcher der deutschen Nationalmannschaft. Vielen Dank für eure Unterstützung und teilt und liked weiterhin alle Beiträge des Fanclubs Baseball Deutschlands. Und nicht vergessen, wir leben Baseball.
Good afternoon. Da höre ich mich. Good, now I hear myself. Good afternoon. We're in Lino, in the capital or former capital city of Bonn for Game 2 in this doubleheader between the home team Bonn Capitals and the visitors from up north, Dohren Wild Farmers. If you were not around for Game 1, if you happen to miss that, that ended 16-1 after just under 6 innings because of the rule implemented for this season that if you're ahead by more than 15 runs after 5 innings, then the game will be called at that point. Capitals were the benefactors in game number 1 of numerous walks, control problems by the pitching staff of the Wild Farmers. And they'll be looking to change that naturally in game number 2. But they'll be leading off, starting this game, with the shortstop, Zaina Enriquez, beginning. He's stepping into the batter's box, grooming it a little bit. The lines are fresh on the field, and pitching for the Capitals in game number 2 is Wilson Lee. And the first pitch comes. Big swing and a miss for Enriquez. And the shortstop. And already...
Yeah, we have what we had in the first game. So Marcus Jensen, in order to get enough games to be qualified for the playoffs, was in for a pitch.
Okay.
And now Marcus Jensen, he's a pitcher.
Yeah.
So he's out again. So Terrell Joyce is
Terrell Joyce back in the game, or back in, you could say. So the ceremonial first pitch, you could say, for Jensen. He's removed quickly. And second pitch comes. Another big swing and a miss by the shortstop of the Wild Farmers. Counts 0-2 now for Enriquez. And he pops one foul back behind us. Count remains 0-2.
Yeah, so we have Wilson Lee on the mound. I mean, he's not supposed to pitch that often because we have enough other pitchers.
Yes.
But because we had a game on Thursday in Solingen where Marcus Jensen, for example, pitched a few innings, and he just arrived this week. So this is probably the reason why they didn't bring Marcus Jensen.
Yeah. And counts 1-2, and Enriquez loses his bat on strike 3. Swing and a miss, and bat got away from him as he goes down for the first out of this game. And that brings up number 58, the catcher, Orlando Del Muro. And this is only the second game for the Wild Farmers this season, and he squares to bunt because he sees the infield back far. The Bonn Capitals infielders now might be on their guard a little bit. And the Mexican takes ball 1, and it's 1-1 that count now. As it looks like he's not going to bunt anymore. He showed that the first pitch, and then he hits a line drive right at the right fielder for out number 2. So that goes to Nick Michelli, who on short notice just before this game began, he was going to play left field originally, but now Danny Lankhorst is out of the game, substituted with Justus Recki. He's in left field, Nick Michelli in right field, Terrell Joyce, the center fielder. And that brings up the third hitter of the inning, 2 outs. That's Mike Amka. He takes strike 1. Wilson Lee with a good start. Second pitch comes in. That one's low and a little bit away for ball one. 1-1 count. Now, Wilson Lee also will be batting. The Capitals are doing it without a designated hitter. And that ground ball hit to first base, and Wilson Lee just beats the runner to the bag as he accepts the throw for the third out of the inning. And it's 1-2-3 for Wilson Lee as we head in to the bottom half of the first. But first, this break. This is Caps TV. Welcome back to Bonn, Germany for the bottom half of the first inning and this second leg of a doubleheader between the Capitals of Bonn and the Dohren Wild Farmers. And pitching on the mound for the Wild Farmers in presumably his first start because we don't have any data on him. This is Shadil Jasprit. And he is a side armor, 3/4. So this is a big challenge for right-handed batters, as that ball will, when you have the impression that that's going to be coming right at you. And behind the plate for the Wild Farmers is Orlando Del Muro. I'll go through the rest of the team as we progress. Eric Brank steps in. And pitch number one outside for ball one. 1-0 the count. Eric Blank was, according to my notes, 1 for 2 in game number one. No, 1 for 4 with a walk. Sorry, 1 for 4 with a walk. So strike one, 1-1 the count now to the shortstop of the Capitals. Next pitch, and that curveball just inside. So Andreas Danielsic with his, and that sidearm submariner hit for foul ball. Count now even 2-2. Hear that one hit the 10 of the bullpen batting cage down the right field line. The 2-2 the count. Jaspreet gets the sign. And a grounder to the third baseman. And his throw is a wild, goes in the dirt, and third baseman will be charged with an error on that one. That is Yap. As his throw was just a bit short, and the first baseman couldn't handle it. Oh, Eric Blank gets to first base on an error. And that brings up the pitcher, Wilson Lee. Usually he's the DH, but taking pitching duties on in this game too. Eric Blank on first base already, nobody out. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. No score so far. Jaspreet's pitch outside for ball 1. Wilson Lee in the last game, 1 for 2. He had 3 walks. Also a benefactor of the control problems of the Wild Farmers. Some clapping. And he hits a ground ball past the second baseman. Eric Brank round second base. He's going to go on to third. And we already have runners on first and third here. And the first 2 batters get on base. Oh, runners on the corner. On the corners for Vinny Allens. He'll be batting from the left-hand side. He's a switch hitter. It does not look like Jaspreet is going to throw with his left hand. After
what Fernandez has done in the first game, he just switched his throwing arm.
Where did he? Apparently, somebody came in with another glove. I didn't see that. I mean, he didn't. He doesn't have a glove behind the mound. And here's a ground ball at second base. They're going to surrender that run and try and turn a double play, but Arlen's can beat out the throw to first. On that, though, Eric Blank scores on the fielder's choice, 4-6. Oh, 1 down now, and the first run across the plate in game 2 of the doubleheader. Capitals take an early lead, and that brings up to Terrell Joyce to the plate, center fielder for the Capitals. Throw over to first. Terrell Joyce with 2 walks, according to my records I see, or possibly 3. Also a 1 for 2. First pitch to the center fielder. Side armor slightly low for ball 1. Andreas Danielsic calling the balls and strikes. And there he goes, a little overarm, and that's a single past the diving third baseman Yap. And Arledge makes a foolish play.
Huh? What was that?
With the ball in front of him in left field, you generally don't run, but he apparently thought that the left fielder was taking too long. Maybe would just lob the ball in. Instead, he's the second out of the inning on that play. Oh, there are now 2 outs, and Terrell Joyce stays at first base. A slightly foolish play by the catcher.
Yeah, I didn't understand that because,
No.
I mean,
My
he probably does not understand it himself. So.
Yeah, you almost think there's a little bit of cockiness there. It's like, first game 16-1. Okay, let's see what happens here. It's only the first inning, and you shouldn't do that. It's unnecessary. So standing is Daniel Lamb Hunt, and he chops it back to the pitcher. Jaspreet throws to first for the third out of the inning, and Capitals do get on the board with 1 run. And after 1 full inning of play in Bonn, it's the Capitals 1 and the Wild Farmers nothing. This is Caps TV. The first inning went by so quickly, and particularly the top half of the first. Wilson Lee, the pitcher for the Capitals, that I didn't really have a chance to introduce the infield of the Capitals in the second game. So starting at first base will be Lennart Vella. At second base, Eddie Stommel. Playing shortstop today again, Eric Blank. And the third baseman is Daniel Lamb Hunt. Going around in the outfield, starting in left field, will be Justus Leckie. Center fielder is Terrell Joyce, and in right field, Nick Michelli. And stepping into the plate is number 32 for the Wild Farmers, and that is the center fielder, Edvardos Matusevicius, who takes ball 1 on the first pitch from Wilson Lee, and that one's high for ball 2. Oh, Matusevicius. Huh? Matusevicius.
He's from Litauen.
I know. Edvardas Matusevicius. Oh, he's ahead in the count, 3-0. Let's see if he's going to take a look at this one, or if he gets the green light. Cocks up, takes ball, strike 1, no, nevertheless. Count now at 3-1. For Matusevicius. Next pitch is low in the dirt, and that's a walk for the center fielder. A leadoff runner on, as I think my colleague Brent Kerrigan would say, hey, that's what you want to do. He's very big on getting those leadoff runners on. And that brings to the plate Przemysław Paluch. Przemysław Paluch. And the designated hitter for the Wild Farmers takes strike 1. The runner on first base with a modest lead. Wilson Lee, the left-hander, has him in his field of vision and throws over. Runner back safely, easily. And the wind has shifted a little bit, now flying from, or blowing from left to right field. And squares to bunt, and it gets away from the catcher. And Matusevicius holds at second base. The ball got very far away and almost into the Capitals dugout. So The Wild Farmers get their first runner of the inning already up to second base in scoring position. And the question in there has been a hit by pitch, so no wild pitch, a hit by pitch. And that sends Paluch to first base. We got first and second runners on first and second for the Wild Farmers. A walk and a hit batsman put the first two runners on for the Wild Farmers. Stepping to the plate is third baseman Sebastian Yap. And looking at the statistics from last season, Sebastian Yap, Wilson Lee turns around, doesn't throw to second. Yap batted 167 in the 2020 campaign. And calls ball one. So Wilson Lee creating a little bit of his own problems, having walked the first batter, hit the second one. And a sharp grounder past the third baseman in between, and throw coming from Leckie to home, but not in time. And the Wild Farmers have equalized this game 1-1 on that single by the third baseman Sebastian Yap. So good piece of hitting, good piece of running, good throw from the left fielder Leckie, but not in time. And with nobody out still, first three batters have reached base. And that brings up Yannick Buyala, the right fielder. He squares the bunt and throw down back to second in time, but the runner, Paluch, was far off second base. Strong throw by Islands. First pitch was a strike to Buyala. Oh, Wilson Lee having to deal with a lot of traffic in this inning, and that ball is fouled back for strike two to the right fielder of the Wild Farmers. Looking at his statistics from last season to give us a little bit of an oversight here, he played about half of the games, and in 16 at-bats, batted .415. And Wilson Lee's pitch there is wide outside for the first ball to Buyala. Score is 1-1. It's the top of the second inning. Runners on first and second. Wilson Lee gets the sign, and that one's fouled straight back. Big cut by the right fielder as the Capitals look to get the first out of this inning, or could turn a double play, would be the best thing that could happen. Third baseman Lamb Hunt is close to third base. If shots hit to him, he'll definitely go to third base. Step on that. See what happens here. Wilson Lee winds up, throws, and the ball gets away. And no play at third or second base. Both runners advance on a wild pitch. So the problems mount for Wilson Lee. Count goes to 2-2. Wild pitch. Well, still nobody out here. Double play out of the question, but Wilson Lee goes for the heat and strikes out Yannick Buyala for the first out of the inning. That brings up the left fielder, Wester Barrio Capal. The right fielder, or left fielder, left-handed hitter. And that's high for ball one. also a lot of pitches for Wilson Lee. I mean, naturally, he's not reaching. In 2 innings, he hasn't reached 50 pitches yet. And there's a shot to right field. Nick Pincelli gets under it. Runner tags up from third base, and the throw is cut off, and the Wild Farmers go into the lead on a sacrifice fly by Barrio Capral.
Didn't wait for the tag.
Uh-oh. So challenge was made at third base, an appeal, and apparently runner took off too early. And the third base coach is dumbfounded here, and this is the third base coach's job, partially, particularly when it's a fly to right, any field. Simply tell the runner, go. But we'll talk about that more.
1-1, the score, not 2-1.
Score is 1-1, not what's on the board 2-1. It's 1-1 after 1.5 innings in Bonn. This is Caps TV. Well, we're back in Bonn, and as I was taking notes, Angela brought it to my attention that there was another out, and I saw the Bonn players leaving the field as I looked up from my scorecard. And what happened there was on the fly ball, the runner is allowed to advance, leaving the bag the moment the ball is caught. Apparently, in this case, Przemysław Paluch left too early before the ball was in the glove of Nick Michelli in this case. And the Capitals appealed. They throw the ball to third base, tag it, and he was out. So what should have been or could have been a 2-1 lead for the Wild Farmers. They lose the run. That's eliminated from the board. And it's 1-1. And stepping to the plate for the first, with the bottom half of the second inning, is Justus Leckie, who is playing left field today. Number 13. And it's ball 2 to the left fielder. The Capitals band's making some noise and drops down the pitcher for ball 3. Occasionally he throws more 3/4, even seen him throw one pitch overarm. Well, he's got a big mix. But he comes down low there and inside for ball 4. 4 pitches and a walk for Justus Leckie. That brings up Nick Michelli, the right fielder. Pitched an inning, I believe, in the last game. Now moved to right field for game number 2. Well, Justus Leckie with a nice sized lead, and strike 1 to Nick Michelli. Jaspreet gets the side. Nick Michelli waiting for the pitch. And throw over to first. Safe. Justus Leckie has to dive back in that case. He might have some thoughts to try and steal second base. In the previous game, the Capitals hit 2 home runs. And that pitch is inside for ball 2. Or ball 1, sorry. 1-1. Jelly gets the sign from third base coach and manager Max Schmitz. Jaspreet looks at first. Looks at home. Comes with the pitch. That one's high for ball 2. Lennart Vela is the man on deck. And in the hole is Eddie Stommel. Throw back to first. Like he dives back in time. Wild Farmers a little concerned about Leckie on first base. Jaspreet gets the sign. The windup and the pitch and that inside pitch. And Leckie steals and the wild throw from the catcher Del Muro sails into right center field practically, giving Leckie third base also. So stolen base and an error by the catcher. Nick Michelli swung on that inside pitch for strike 2. Even count now. Some contact. Would have to be at least a fly ball. The infield of the Wild Farmers in, looking for a play at the plate, stop that leading run from coming home. And Jaspreet's pitch is high and outside for ball 3, and it's a full count now. Wild Farmers almost on the grass, the whole infield. It's a full count. Runner on third for the Capitals. Nobody out. And that pitch is outside for ball 4. And a walk to Nick Michelli also. So 2 walks, an error, and runners now on the corners. Stolen base. That brings up Lennart Vela, the first baseman. Well, Lennart Vela didn't play in game 1. Looking to drive in a run. And he hits one right back at the pitcher, who throws his arm back. And he knocks down the ball in front of him, but he can't make the play to first. And smartly, I would say, ate the ball, didn't throw to first. That would have been a tough play to get him out. But now the bases are loaded. Acrobatic play by the pitcher. Those comebackers are tough. He just threw his glove hand back as he's coming off the mound. He could stop the ball, and that would have probably stopped the run. So the bases are loaded for Eddie Stommel. And that one gets past the catcher, and that's going to bring home the go-ahead run. Justus Leckie crosses home. The other runners advance 1 base. Runners now on second and third. So the pitcher a little rattled after these events. Walks, errors. Ball hasn't left the infield yet. And yet 3 runners have reached base. Second baseman Eddie Stommel. Ahead on the count, 1-0. Pitch comes, and off-speed pitch for ball 2. That's the new pitcher for the Wild Farmers, having some control problems now. And if he is new to the game of baseball, which is a suspicion we have, simply because he wasn't on our roster list, we don't have any information.
No, actually, it's the very first 2 games for the Dohren Wild Farmers, so they have a new pitcher, and
now the home plate umpire conferring with the third base umpire.
So we have to check the number here. Somebody in the chat says this is not the pitcher we talk about here.
Okay.
What is the number?
Number 9. But I believe.
Let's see.
I have him.
Oh, it's Jazz Scherdiddle. It's the. Yeah.
What I see, according to the way that's written, is Jaspreet.
Jazz Scherdiddle is number 9. That's the pitcher.
What I saw was something else. I mean, I saw that. Good. We'll refer to him as Jazz?
Yeah, obviously.
Well, but that's not what's written there. That's what I'm saying. There is a Preet after the Jazz.
Jaspreet, but obviously he's called Jazz.
Okay, that's good that we know that, but that's one thing we can't know.
No, but you were talking about, I was thinking you had the wrong name at all.
No, it's just simply if he's referred to as Jazz, if that's the name he goes by. And there's another wild pitch, or it gets past the catcher, could be a pass ball, but that's another run as Nick Michelli crosses the plate. And Leonard Vella can advance to third, so the problem's mounting. As Jazz still looking for the first out of this inning. The runner is on third base. As wild pitches or pass balls are mounting. And there's a line drive just outside. Foul down the right field line. It makes for a full count now, 3-2. So thank you to people who are writing us on social media. Full count, runner on third base. And there's another ball down the right field line and foul.
Long battle here from Eddie.
Long battle. 6th or 7th pitch coming up right now. 7th. As Jazz is looking for his first out in the top half or bottom half of the second. And instead, he draws another walk, or throws another walk, and that puts another runner on base, first and third. And that brings the top of the order to the plate. This is Eric Brank. With the score now 3-1, 2 runs already in the bottom half of the second. And Melduro communicating with the team, communicating with the pitcher, make sure the signals are straight. And the shortstop, Eric Blank, reached base on an error in the first inning. He came around to score the first run of this game. And he hits a line shot caught by the second baseman, and everybody has to scramble back. No double play. Everybody's safe on base. Gentle, soft line drive to the second baseman. Oh, a good play there by Petzold, Johannes Petzold, and that brings up Wilson Lee, the pitcher in this game. Now 1 out with runners on the corners for the Capitals, looking to increase their lead. First pitch to Wilson Lee, and is outside for ball 1. Want to know the count, although it's not on the board. And that one's 3/4 inside for ball 2. A 2-0 now the count to Wilson Lee. That's also the number of pitches for Jazz mounting. There he goes down. Wilson Lee, the third baseman, and he throws to second for a 1 out. And the relay to first base goes wide, so Wilson Lee makes it, and a run comes across the plate. Leonard Vela scores to increase the lead to 4-1. And Wilson Lee reaches first base on the fielder's choice. They would have had him if the throw had been on target. Vinny Arlins steps back into the batter's box. Second at bat, and he takes strike 1. Two outs. Wilson Lee running. The throw from Malgulo is not in time. Good throw, though.
Yeah.
But Wilson Lee steals second base. And a runner in scoring position for the Capitals and for Vinny Owens. 1-1 to count. Fouls that one. Count goes to 1-2. To the Capitals catcher. Examines his bat. Left-handed hitter, switch hitter. Pitch comes from Jazz. And that one's in the dirt for ball 2. Evens the count. So 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Long standoff here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before the next pitch. Drops down, and Ireland fouls that one off to the softball diamond. It's going to be a long run for some of the kids to get that one. And it's almost need some kind of a pitch clock here, or batter's clock. There's a long time between pitches. Count remains 2-2. Vinny Arlins. And he crushes that one. And that one is a no-doubter for the Bonn Capitals catcher, Vinny Arlins. So home run, 2-run shot. That ruins your prognostication on.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless,
but that's fine.
But that's fine. No,
I can live with it.
So that bumps up the score to 6-1.
And second home run of Vinny today.
Vinny with a second 4-bagger. With lots of applause from the home crowd. And stepping to the plate will be Terrell Joyce. He flied out to left field in his last at-bat, and then the left fielder threw out Vinny Allens at second base. First pitch was outside. 1-0 the count. Next pitch coming. And it's grounded to the shortstop. Gets the ball. And almost pulled
off the bag.
Pulled him off the bag with that throw. That was hard to tell.
Yeah, it was tight.
It was hard to tell if he could keep. We were in the major leagues, there'd be a challenge most certainly if he managed to keep it on or put it back once he caught the ball. Because when he needed to pull it off, I think, to catch it, and then he probably just leaned back on his foot. But nevertheless, official score then would call that an E6 on the throw. And that brings. He was off the bat. Yeah, it was very, very close. And that one goes right back again to the pitcher, and he can gently toss it to first base for the third out of the inning. Daniel Lamhunt goes down on one pitch, but 5 runs come across the plate for the home team Capitals. They lead 6-1. This is Caps TV.
Ich glaube, wir müssen von Spiel zu Spiel schauen.
Ich glaube, wir werden uns von Spiel zu Spiel steigern.
Nächstes Spiel angreifen. Wir haben noch ein Riesenspiel, das ist erstmal wieder am Freitag vor der Brust.
Es ist am Samstag ein schweres Spiel.
Und Sonntag geht's weiter.
Es ist nur ein Spiel.
Was danach kommt, das wird man sehen.
Egal, was danach kommt, wir zeigen es live. Mit allen Spielen der 3. Liga, der Penny DEL und der Easy Credit BBL. Nur bei Magenta Sport.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schütz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schütz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps! Das ist...
We're back. And first pitch to Johannes Petzold is the second baseman, and he takes ball 2-0. Wilson Lee having some difficulties at times, and that ball is shot into shallow left field, and it lands in front of the left fielder, Justus Leckie, for a single. So the first runner gets on again for the Wild Farmers from Dohren. And that brings up number 7, if I see correctly. But I don't have him. There he, of course, we're back at the top of the order. Okay, and then Enriquez lines a shot down the left field line, and Justus Leckie is busy. And with the first 2 batters reaching base in 4 total pitches, and Enriquez reaches base. Oh, runners on first and second, just like last inning. That brings up the catcher, Orlando Del Muro. He flied to right field in the last inning, or in the first inning. His last at bat. Wilson Lee's first pitch is in for a strike. The Wild Farmers putting up a good fight. The defense is letting them down. Some fundamental mistakes. Errors, wild throws, wild pitches, hit batsmen. So the basics are lacking. Otherwise, this game wouldn't be nearly, the lead wouldn't be nearly as large as it is. Count is 1-1 to the Farmers catcher. And he fouls that one in towards the dugouts of the Farmers, and count now 1-2. Wilson Lee making it tough on himself. That one's inside. Good block there by Vinny Arlens. Throw your body into it on those balls in the dirt. Keep your body in front of it. That's exactly what it did. Let it hit your chest protector. So now the count's 2-2. Runners on first and second. No runs yet across the plate in this top half of the third inning. Lee looks back at second base. Looks again. Comes with the pitch. And strike out, a curveball there to Del Muro. And that brings up left-handed hitter Mike Aimka. He grounded out to first base in the top half of the first inning. Aimka, the lefty and first baseman for the Wild Farmers. And another big cut. It's for strike one. Another swing and a miss. He finds himself in the hole 0-2. The first baseman of Dohren. Sets up outside Vinny Arlens, and that one's fouled back. Bounces off the heels of the home plate umpire. The count remains 0-2. 6-1 the score in the top half of the third inning, if you're just joining us. Game one ended after 6 innings. And there's a ground ball past the diving first baseman. And they hold up the runner with a strike from Nick Michelli. They would have probably gunned him down. So now, with one out, the bases are loaded. After Mike Aimka strokes a single to right field. What's Wilson Lee going to do to get out of the jam? The Capitals infield playing for a double play. Also guarding the line on third base, third baseman Lamb Hunt. Matusevicius is the batter here, the cleanup hitter. Drew a walk in his first at-bat, or his first plate appearance. And scored the lone run for the Wild Farmers in this game. And second pitch is in for a strike. It's 1-1 now. Pitcher's best friend is what Wilson Lee would like right now, and that is the double play. And that curveball catches the outside corner of the plate. And Matusevicius looks a little incredulous about that. As the wind has yet shifted again and blowing more from right to left. The beginning of the game was left to right. And big swing and a miss and a second strikeout in this inning for Wilson Lee. Bases still loaded. No runs have yet scored in the top half of the third. And stepping to the plate is Przemysław Paluch, who got the final out in the previous inning after having left third base too early on in a sacrifice fly. And so he takes pitch. First pitch is a strike. That one's high. Ball one. 1-1 now. And it was just last Sunday. We had glorious sunny conditions, almost too warm here in the booth. Today we're probably thankful we don't have to deal with that. A dreary day. And that one catches the inside corner. Makes the count 1-2 to the DH of the Wild Farmers. Oh, the bases are loaded. At third is Petzold. At second, Enriquez. At first, and that one is going to land in front of Joyce. And one run comes in. 2 runs. And also the Enriquez can avoid the tag. And 2 runs cross the plate on that single by Paluch. So now with runners on first and second. Nice piece of hitting by the DH. It's a good throw by Joyce. Just a little bit up the third base line. Otherwise, that just might have been the third out of the inning. But instead, that brings up Sebastian Yap. Who takes a big swing. So he had a single in his first at-bat. Wilson Lee delivers, and that one's chopped foul. And Yap finds himself in the hole 0-2. Well, Wilson Lee has been getting ahead on some hitters, but they've been finding a way to save themselves with hits. In fact, Wilson Lee has not thrown any walks this inning. And there's another chop foul. Count remains the same, 0-2. Mike Amka on second base. Paluch on first base. The third baseman at the plate. And he hits a ground ball down the third baseline. Foul. Oh, Wilson Lee gets a new ball from his catcher. Count remains 0-2. Fourth pitch. Fifth pitch coming up. As Yap has fouled off 3 pitches in a row. And fouls off another one. Well, forcing Wilson Lee to throw more pitches. Challenge him. Try and maybe a little bit of off speed would be something good here, or something a little bit outside of the strike zone. See if he chases it. And get that third out the easy way on a bad pitch. Wilson Lee delivers, and that one gets the strikeout. For the third strikeout of the inning, strikes out the side, but 2 runs come across the plate for the Wild Farmers. And we enter the bottom half of the third. 6-3 for the Capitals. This is Caps TV. We start the bottom half of the third inning just as we started the bottom half of the second inning with Justus Leckie stepping to the plate as 9 batters faced off against Jas in the bottom half of the second. Justus Leckie drew a walk in his first plate appearance. Ended up scoring on a wild pitch. First pitch is in there for swing and a strike. The score 6-3. Playing left field today. Leckie was busy in the last inning. With the first 2 batters hitting the ball to him. 2 singles. He's now 1-1 in the count. Waits for the pitch. And that one's outside for ball 2. Well, neither team has pitched very well in the first 2.5 innings.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of weak pitching on both sides. You can see on the score.
Yeah. It's going to be more about, at least at the moment, unless some new pitchers come in who change that. I think the depth of the batting lineup certainly is to the advantage of the Capitals.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the bullpen of the Wild Farmers is. We definitely have some more pitchers in the bullpen. But of course, you don't want to bring them too early, because if it's a 9-inning game, then it's a 9-inning game, and you need pitchers for 9 innings.
So at least available according to the lineup we received, Wittig. That one fouled off on an inside pitch. Steigert, Wilhelm, Blank. Even somebody like Nick Michelli could throw in a pinch.
Sure.
They have a week off before their next games. Also a home stand or a home doubleheader.
Yeah, we
Saturday,
have
Sunday.
Yes, we have our first night game next week, then Saturday against Paderborn.
Oh, a full count now to you, Leckie. His first plate appearance, he drew a walk on 4 pitches. This time he has to wait a little longer if he's going to draw a walk. Next pitch comes. And that one is low for ball 4.
Again.
Another walk. Had to wait a little longer that time. Nick Michelli steps to the plate. Who also drew a walk in the previous inning.
Yeah, we capitalized on some bad throws.
Can't believe we haven't said that more often.
Yeah, on some bad throws in the last inning. I think Nick was one of the ones. Some walks, some wild pitches.
Yeah.
So.
And he hits a line drive into right center field, and Justus Leckie round second base, and he'll go to third. And that throw to third allows Nick Michelli to advance to second base. So a single. And advancing on the throw, probably not a smart play by the right fielder in this case, Bujala. Justus Leckie didn't exactly have a great jump on that hit, but it was going to be tough to throw him out from right field, and that gives Nick Michelli the opportunity, since there was no cutoff, to go to second base. So now first 2 runners are on. Daniel Lamhunt.
Leonard
Veller, sorry. The first baseman.
Yeah, Daniel was first baseman in the first game.
Yeah. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he reached on an error in the, I believe, in the first inning. Or no, that was the hit back to the pitcher who stopped the ball from getting into the outfield. So it was a hit. And Vela already ahead on the count 2-0. So it's the bottom half of the order is wreaking havoc, you could say, on Jas, the pitcher of the Wild Farmers. Runners on second and third here, and there's a high pop-up to the right side. Right fielder comes in and throws home, and good thing that Justus like he didn't run. But that was a shallow pop-up, and so that's the first out of the inning. Bringing up Eddie Stommel. He drew a walk. And then was thrown out on a fielder's choice later on. Now the second baseman looking for his first hit. Jas with the throw in the dirt. Good stop by Del Muro. Want to know the count. And he comes down low again. Submarining, no, for ball 2. Oh, Jas really having some problems. You're finding the strike zone. I don't have in front of me his balls and strikes count, but...
I could check that.
Okay. Nick Michelli with a very large lead off of second base. If the ball is hit into the outfield, he'll score him almost easily. He does have speed. And the second baseman is playing a little bit of cat and mouse with him, but the pitcher's not paying much attention, if any at all, to the runner on second base. There's a runner in front of him, Justus Leckie, with a small lead off of third. And that slow pitch changeup is high for ball 3. Now 3-1. If Justus Leckie is not careful, Nick Michelli's going to overtake him. That's fine. And there's a gentle line drive to the first baseman for the second out of the inning.
So it's not that many walks. He has 4 walks so far.
Yeah, but how many balls? He doesn't.
Yeah, he
throws a lot of balls, huh?
No, it's okay.
Really?
It's 24
24 balls.
out of 52.
Okay.
This is what Easy Score tells me.
Yeah. Well, okay. Gotta believe Easy Score. Easy Score's never been wrong, right?
I don't know. The guy is sitting over there who's doing it.
So that brings up the top of the order again for the Capitals the third time around with leadoff hitter Eric Blank, the shortstop, who reached base on the first inning on an error, lined out in the second to the second baseman. He's ahead on the count 1-0. And he hits a shot to the shortstop for the third out of the inning. So no runs scored, although the first 2 get on. And the score remains 6-3 after 3 full innings here in Bonn. This is Caps TV. We're heading into the top half of the fourth inning with the score of modest 6-3 lead for the Bonn Capitals. They've had a lot of runners on base, but have not, I won't say it, they haven't taken advantage instead of they haven't capitalized.
They didn't capitalize.
But you already took that one. So, and their second baseman, Eddie Stommel, just making it onto the field. A play umpire moves over. Okay, Wilson Lee with one more warm-up pitch. And stepping to the plate to lead off the fourth inning will be the right fielder, Yannick Bouyala, number 41. He struck out his first at-bat. Wilson Lee with the first pitch here in the fourth inning. Strike one. So I don't know if I should bring out the quiz anytime soon. I think I'll wait because this game is. And there's a shot into the right center field gap, and Nick Michelli tracks it down before it can get to the warning track for a long single. With another leadoff runner on base. On that fly ball to right center field. There's a good play there by Nick Michelli to cut that off before Bouyala could advance to second base. The left fielder steps to the plate, Wester Barrio Capral. Yeah, he takes a big swing for strike one. So his fly ball in the second inning was caught by Nick Michelli, ended up being a double play accidentally after the runner on third left too early, and on the appeal was called out to end the second inning. So you have to be careful. He can drive the ball. He hit that ball in the second inning a long way to Nick Michelli. Left-handed hitter takes first ball in this at-bat. Counts now 1-2. As the Wild Farmers are making contact against Wilson Lee. There's a chopper over the head of the first baseman who, because he was on first base, holding the runner, couldn't get that one. And so the first two runners are on for the Wild Farmers yet again. Bouyala on second, Barrio Capral on first base, and that brings up the second baseman, Johannes Petzold. He stroked a single in the third inning, and he would come around to score later, and Wilson Lee fakes the throw to second base. As the Wild Farmers have dialed in to the left-handed Capitals pitcher. He squares to bunt and can't. As ball one pulled back. Well, Wild Farmers smelling that they can get hits and runs and going to play some small ball, and he misses on that one for strike one. That was a good pitch there to possibly lay the bunt down on. It creates a lot of havoc in a situation like this with runners on first and second. What does the third baseman do? Does somebody cover third at all? And there's one hit to Wilson, and he lets that go to Lamb Hunt, who throws it past the first base, covered by Eddie Stommel, and now that runner. So Bouyala will come home on that wild throw from Daniel Lamb Hunt on the bunt play. And there are no outs. E6. But Petzold couldn't advance on the wild throw to first, so now there's going to be a visit on the mound. Max Schmitz seems to have seen enough, and he does take the ball away from Wilson Lee, who 3+ innings, has surrendered 4 runs total. And there's going to be pitching change here in Bonn as we go to a break. Am I correct, or are we waiting?
No, we don't need a break. We can
No,
talk a little bit about it.
Yeah.
What happens now is that Sammy Steigert comes to the mound, and because they want to keep Wilson Lee in the offense line, they have taken out Justus Recki, obviously.
Okay, so Wilson Lee will be moving into left field, and Sammy Steigert will be pitching for.
Yeah, or maybe they even switch that. Let's see, the outfield.
Yeah.
Possibly Michelli goes to left field and Lee to right field or so.
Yeah.
We will see. Yeah, looks like. So Lee
Yeah,
goes
Wilson
to right
Lee will
field.
go to right. So we've got some changes here in the lineup card, at least for our purposes. Nick Michelli, who was originally going to play in left field, will go there now. Justus Recki leaves the game. And Sammy Steigert is coming on to pitch and will be taking his place in the batting order if he comes to bat. And Wilson Lee is going into right field. Oh. Keep track of that on your lineup cards. 1 moves to 9, 9 moves to 7, and then we got a new pitcher with Recki leaving the game. Oh, looking at the statistics, Sammy Steigert, he's 7 full innings pitched, given up 5 hits, struck out 4, and he has 2 wins to his name because so far the starting pitchers in the first 4 games had not gone far enough to get the win, although they were leading in all those games. And Sammy Steigert was the benefactor of that. And he's going to face off against the top of the order. And that's shortstop Enriquez.
So here we have another sidearm pitcher. So we have 2
Good.
on the
We
mound
got all kinds of sidearmers. Yeah, and that ball's chopped foul down the first base line for the first strike. So things getting a little dicey for the Capitals, who have not scored the runs they could have.
Yeah.
And also been surrendering some runs quite inexplicably or irresponsibly, you could say. And there's a ground ball, gets past the runner on the right side of the infield, and there's a second run of the inning as Barrio Capal scores on that single by Enriquez. Our runners now on first and second base.
Still no outs.
No outs. Top of the order, the third time through the order. Now the second batter, Del Muro, who has flied out to right field and struck out in his first 2 at-bats. 6-5 the score. Nobody out. 2 runners on. And then there's a run, throw down to second on that failed bunt attempt, but it was thrown for a ball anyway. All kinds of crazy things can go on. The last bunt was a wild throw by the third baseman, and this time he takes the big swing. No bunt attempt there by Del Muro. Capitals have their hands full so far in this game. There's another strike. Six to 5 the score. We're in the top half of the 4th inning. Somewhat of a surprise after a 16-1 easy victory in game 1.
Yeah, but as we said before, pitching problems here.
Yeah.
Wilson Lee had some difficulties. And it's a very slow game because both pitchers were not very fast.
Yeah.
So
count now full. The runners will go on contact. And there's a foul ball, and the third base coach decides to keep his hands away from that one, and I would say smartly so. It was not a slow roller. So we'll repeat the 3-2 count to Del Muro. Sami Steigert gave up a single to the first pitcher he faced, or batter he faced, and that one's a line shot down the third baseline. Foul. Yet another full count pitch to the catcher Del Muro. Petzold on second. Enriquez on third, and that one gets away for ball 4. Loading the bases with no one out.
Yep.
So what are the Capitals going to do? Are they going to pull the infield in? The corners are playing more or less on the edge of the grass. Certainly the first baseman Vela is, as we have a left-handed hitter in Mike Imka. And his check swing, broken bat, single lands in left field, and the score is all of a sudden 6-6. Shatters the bat, gets sort of an excuse me single with nobody out. Another run scores. The Bonn pitching staff having their problems against the Wild Farmers in game number 2. And here comes a visit to the mound.
From Maurice Willem.
Their closer, their star closer, going to have a short chat with Steigert. And Maurice Wilhelm is not the biggest guy, but he looks down to Sammy Steigert, doesn't he?
Yeah.
A real big jam for the Capitals. Leonard Vela on the edge of the infield grass. Bases are loaded. Will they come home? A strikeout would be the best thing that could happen here.
Or a force play. I mean, that's...
Could go for it, of course. Force play at home. You might even consider taking the double play if it were handed to you, because the middle of the infield they're playing back. Matusevicius swings, goes down 0-2, falls behind 0-2 in this count. He's drawn a walk and struck out in his first 2 plate appearances. Strikeout would be crucial here. And there's a ball that hits off of Vela. He can manage to gather the ball and step on first base on also more of an excuse me swing.
He could have easily taken it and bring it home.
If he had picked that up cleanly, he could have gotten the force out at home. But instead, it hits off the heel of his glove, and he has to collect it and get at least the 1 out. And go-ahead run crosses the plate. So certainly not something that the Capital fans were expecting, and certainly not at the way the first game had gone. But every game is different, and Vinny Islands throws to third base, and that's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
Threw it in the dirt also, so good play by Lamb Hunt to stop that. At the plate is the DH, Paluch. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning. He got a single in the third inning. And he's down 0-2 in this count. Steigert looking for a strikeout here. And that one jams the DH, and that dribbles foul down the third base line. Count remains 0-2. And I have to say, I mean, the Wild Farmers, they're getting some, you could say some lucky contact, but they're staying alive, and then they get
and they have the contact. I mean, that's the main thing.
They're hitting the ball. There's another ground ball right to Lamb Hunt. He can't do anything with it at third, but he throws to first. And so, it's second out of the inning. Good play by the third baseman there. The runner couldn't do anything at third base except for stand there. For those keeping score, it's a 6-3 ground out. So now 2 outs. But 4 runs have scored this inning for the Wild Farmers. And the 9th hitter of the inning is Sebastian Japp, the third baseman. He takes strike 1. All of these inside pitches are pulling him foul. He struck out last inning, got a single in the first inning, or in the second inning, I should say. And he's down in the count 0-2. Sammy Steigert looking to end this rally, and he gets the strikeout. So
it's about time.
That was a long inning. 9 batters come to the plate for the Wild Farmers. They score 4 runs, and they lead after 3.5 innings, 7-6. This is Caps TV. Seven to 6 for the Wild Farmers. A bit of a shock, I would say, for the Capitals, and certainly the fans who are quiet. They need to step up their support as we head into the bottom half of the 4th inning. And leading off will be the now right fielder Wilson Lee, who started the game as the pitcher and had his problems. Is responsible, I believe, for 5 of the runs scored. As he faces Jazz again, so far he has a single and a fielder's choice. And he takes strike one. Next pitch comes. That one's 3/4 outside for ball one. 1-1. Capitals are going to will have to step it up, obviously, as they are meeting resistance that they weren't really expecting. And Wilson Lee hit that one nicely, but foul down the third base line. Capitals had led 6-1 at one point in this game after 2 innings. Had runners in scoring position in the third inning, but failed to push any across. So now they are down in the score line, 7-6. Wilson Lee will want to start the rally. It's 2-2 the count. Jazz winds up, and Wilson Lee chops that one into the ground. The shortstop gathers it in and throws out Wilson Lee at first base for the first out of the inning. And this is one of those things, too. I don't think we can consider this a professional major league pitcher. But sometimes you just need to get into it and things start going your way. And after that last inning, when the Capitals couldn't put any runs on the board, despite having the opportunity, who knows? Maybe he's got 1 or 2 good innings left in him. He's already got one out here in the bottom half of the fourth. And it's the home run boy, Vinny Arlins, stepping to the plate. He crushed a home run to center field in the second inning. 2-run shot. Certainly would like to repeat something like that. So the 2 other games that were played today I saw have ended. Regensburg won against Tübingen 10-0. And in a high-scoring affair in, I believe, in Mannheim, the Mannheim lost 11-21 against Mainz. 11-21. That could happen here. And that means we're gonna have to order a dinner here soon. It's already past 5:30. Vinny Arlins, the catcher, is down 1-2 in the count, and that change up outside for ball 2. And the Jazz definitely likes to take his time between pitches, particularly when there's nobody on base. These things could go a little quicker. It's not as if there's a runner on second base and you have to send 3 or 4 signs from the catcher. Catcher can put a finger down or 2 fingers down and more or less throw the ball. I was watching a game last night in the major leagues to Tampa Bay's Rich Hill. He didn't mess around. And that one. High, apparently, for ball 3. So Vinny Arlins, I think you could be happy about that one, that he got a ball. Well, Rich Hill, that guy, he probably didn't wait more than 2 seconds once he got the ball. And Vinny Arlins pops that one into left center field, and the left fielder moves over and makes the grab for the second out of the inning. So it's as easy as that for Jazz, who now will be facing Terrell Joyce. He flew out in the first inning to left field and got on base on an error in the second inning. 2 outs, 2 up, 2 down. We're back here after after a glitch on our computer, it wasn't anything on yours. Since I believe our interruption, you may not have heard or seen that Terrell Joyce has hit the game-tying home run with a jack to right center field, and Daniel Lamb Hunt got on to first base on a walk, but the inning is over. Sammy Steigert goes down swinging, but the It's 7-7, as it did the last inning, the batting order, I should say, with Yannick Bouyala leading off. The guests, the visitors, have put 7 runs across the plate, and Sammy Steigert begins the at bat, and with now a 1-1 count on Bouyala. Sammy Steigert struck out to end the bottom of the 4th. And there's a chopper to Eric Blank. And he throws out the runner at first base for the first out of the inning. So it's been a while, I think, since the first inning that the first batter was out. So they'd see if that trend continues. And coming to the plate is the left-handed hitter, Wester Barrio Capral, and he hits a chopper to the first baseman. Sammy Steigert covers first base. Beautiful play. Well done. Those are the basics. That's what you do correct to win games. And so after just 4 pitches, there are 2 outs. 2 up, 2 down. Stepping to the plate is the second baseman, Johannes Petzold, who takes ball 1. He reached base in the previous inning on an error. Came home to score. He scored 2 times already. Has a single. 1-1 the count. Steigert with the pitch. Strike 2. Johannes Petzold having problems with the sidearm approach of the pitcher. And that one forces the second baseman to scoot away. The count now 1-2. 2-2, sorry. 2-2 the count, 2 outs. That's the Capitals pitcher with an impressive top half of the 5th inning. Score remains 7-7. This is Caps TV. After 4.5 innings here in the Rheinaue in Bonn, the score is tied 7-7 as the Dohren pitcher Jazz has calmed down, could say, although there was the big home run last inning by Terrell Joyce. But in general, he's throwing better the last couple of innings and has only given up that one run in the last 2 innings pitched. And stepping to the plate, leading off the bottom half of the 5th is Nick Michelli. He's drawn a walk and singled. And he tries to bunt there. He bunts it foul. One for one today, Michelli. Looking to get the fortunes of the Capitals on the uptrend. And throws that one to the backstop for the first ball, 1-1. In the on-deck circle is Lennart Vella. That curveball is outside for ball 2. Jazz occasionally comes in with that curveball and hasn't had a lot of success with it, and it is a slow pitch. If the Capitals batter is expecting it and gets it in the strike zone, it could be trouble for the Dohren pitcher. But so far, it hasn't really haunted him. This count goes to 3-1 now to the leadoff hitter here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And he scorches a ground ball between the second and third baseman, or the shortstop and third baseman, should say. Nick Michelli on with a single. And brings up Lennart Vella, who has an infield single. And he flew out to right field in his last at-bat. A little bit of AC/DC as his walk-up music. So Nick Michelli, always a threat to steal. See if he or the Capitals management says, go for it. Stays on first this time, and there's a pop-up right at first base for the first out of the inning. So that was a fast at-bat. And obviously, Nick Michelli couldn't do anything there but stand on the bag when the first baseman caught the ball right next to him. And we have a new player entering the game. Coming in for Eddie Stommel is Kevin Lamberts. As a pinch hitter. So pinch hitter, he'll be taking over at second base. And Jazz throws to first. Wants to make sure that Nick Michelli doesn't go anywhere. I don't know if it was wise for Lennart Vella to swing on that first pitch. You really have somebody who can run. Nick Michelli likes to run. Give him a chance. But what's done is done. It's now up to Kevin Lamberts, who takes ball 1 to get Nick Michelli around. Look at that goose flying over. Pitch coming, and no, he turns to look at first, Jazz, and we'll start again. With 1 out, runner on first base. Kevin Lamberts pinch hitting for Eddie Stommel. And he sends that one, a nice line drive right back over the pitcher's head. And we have runners on first and second base. with one out, and we come to this top of the order again with Eric Blank, who's looking for his first hit this inning, or this game. Did reach first base in the first inning, but has since gently lined out to the second baseman and shortstop in his previous 2 at-bats. So it's time to get something going here. Capitals, runners on first and second. Nick Michelli dancing. And since there's nobody in front of him, the question is, does he want to try and go for third base and test the arm of Del Muro behind home plate? He's still dancing with a large lead off of second base. And he has to dash back to second. So this is something that is going to busy the mind of the pitcher and the catcher. What do we do with a threat at second base to steal? Now the pitch comes in a lot quicker for a strike. So strike one. And interestingly, Jazz did not wait long. Almost a quick pitch there. You have to pause. One thing that happened this week is that a pitcher did not pause long enough and was called for a balk. So now the cat and mouse game is getting on some of the fans, getting on the nerves of some of the fans. This time it's taking a little bit longer. Look back at second. Throw comes, and he checks his swing, and it's called strike, as he couldn't check it completely. So now he's down 0-2, Eric Blank. Now Nick Michelli standing practically shoulder to shoulder with the shortstop. That's changed. That pitch gets past the catcher, and that's going to make it easy for the runners for the Capitals as they each can advance a base on the wild pitch. So, runners, 2 runners in scoring position. Eric Blake now 1-2 in the count. Single would plate 1, possibly 2 runners. As the Capital shortstop waits for the pitch, it comes. That's outside for ball 2. 2-2 now. As the shortstop battles his way back, the infield is in for the Wild Farmers as they don't want to allow that run to score. Could be a play at the plate, and that gets past the third baseman. So 1 run is going to score, and it gets past the left fielder. Eric Blank, 2-run score. Eric Blank is going to third. He's going to get to third base. 2 runs score. 2 RBIs on a single and an error that allows Eric Blank to go all the way to third base. Barrio Cabral let that one go through the legs. That hot shot, and the diving third baseman wasn't able to stop it. Capitals now ahead again, 9-7. Wilson Lee steps to the plate. He's 0 for 3 so far. He's reached base on a fielder's choice in the second inning, but he's looking for his first hit. And he hits a line drive to the shortstop for the second out of the inning. No play at third. As Eric Blank saw that quickly enough and retreated back to third before any play could be made. And that brings up Vinny Arlens with a home run to his credit today, a 2-run shot in the second inning. Eric Blank waiting for a possible wild pitch. He's also aggressive, moving up and down the line some. First ball to Arlens already. 2 outs, 2 runs have scored this inning. And that changeup is called strike. 1-1 now the count. The Wild Farmers are going with their starting pitcher. They're going to gas him out as far as he can. And there's a chopper that Jazz can't control. And Vinny Arlens was not paying attention. He probably could have advanced. As an errant throw by the pitcher. Still would call that a single. I think that would be an infield single. No real damage, but the run scores. Eric Blank makes it 10-7 on the infield single by Vinny Arlens. And now a visit to the mound as Jazz, don't know if they're talking about what just happened there. He was slow to hasn't even returned to the mound, is on the edge of it. Gets a pat on the back and words of encouragement as he'll face the next batter. That's going to be Terrell Joyce, who in the previous inning, in the 4th inning, he tied the game 7-7 with a rocket of a shot home run to right field. There's a runner on first base, Vinny Arlens. As Jazz readies, throws. That one's in the dirt for ball 1. The Wild Farmers don't want to let this game get out of control now. They've come back down 6-1 to go ahead 7-6 at one point. But now they've fallen behind another 3 runs, 10-7, as their pitcher might be reaching the end of the line. It's a 2-0 count on the center fielder. Two outs. And that pitch is far outside for ball 3. As the control issues are returning, or have returned, could say. Well, so far 3 runs scored this inning, as the Capitals look to build on their lead. And that's strike 1. Good pitch there, caught the outside corner.
I expect Marcus as the next pitcher for Dohren. So he's in the field, so he's not in the workout then because he's playing.
No. Next pitch is inside for ball 4. And another runner for the Capitals this inning. First and second now. And the question is if the Wild Farmers are going to bring in somebody to pitch for Jazz, is who might that candidate be? So looking at their pitching statistics from last year, and playing in the field is Matusevicius. He might be there. That's the he's playing in center field at the moment. Yeah, their center fielder. If he wouldn't come in, but at the moment they're sticking with Jazz. And it's Daniel Lamb Hunt, who drew a walk in the previous inning, at the plate. This is the 8th batter in the 5th inning for the Capitals. Runners on first and second with 2 out. Counts 0-1. And that one hits Lamb Hunt, who made no move to try and get out of the way. It wasn't a very fast pitch, but that's hit batsman in any case. So now, with the bases loaded, Joe Wittig is coming to the plate, who is pinch hitting for Sammy Steigert. So that'll be the end of the day for the Bonn pitcher, who came in to relieve Wilson Lee. Now the Capitals looking to possibly put an end to the chances for the Wild Farmers to walk away with a surprise victory, I think you would be in this game. The Capitals have taken the lead again. They're up by 3 runs, 10-7. And Joe Wittig is the pinch hitter. And he takes strike 1. So it's 0-1 count, pinch hitter Wittig with the bases loaded as the Capitals look to end any surprises here. Still a lot of baseball to be played, and the way the Wild Farmers have done against the Bonn pitching this game should want to score as many runs as possible. Fans are encouraging, cheering, clapping, and that one is also to Joe Wittig. Next pitch comes, that's outside, and now it's 3-1. Big problems for Jazz, who wants a new ball. He gets it. The count 3-1. Runners will be going on contact. Base hit here would do a lot. Would be probably 2 guaranteed runs. And that one's low. And he draws a walk. Oh. That walk increases the lead to 11-7. And so now the man who started this inning with a single, Nick Michelli, steps up to the plate again. Bases are loaded again, are still, and Jazz is having some extreme difficulties finding the strike zone now, as that one was far outside to Michelli. It's 11-7 now, 4 runs and maybe some activity going up now in the Dohren bullpen. Somebody running down there. But they've waited around a long time unless they're going to use one of their field players if they decide to change pitchers. But at the moment, they're letting Jazz, they're leaving him on the mound with the score 11-7. And Nick Michelli takes strike 1. Now it's 2-1 to the left fielder. come right fielder. Two outs. Runners will go on any contact, and there's a chopper to the second baseman. He goes to the easy out at second to the shortstop, and that ends the bottom half of the fifth inning, but not before 4 runs score for the Bonn Capitals, and it's 11-7 after 5. This is Caps TV.
Ich glaube, wir müssen von Spiel zu Spiel schauen.
Ich glaube, wir werden uns von Spiel zu Spiel steigern.
Nächstes Spiel angreifen. Wir haben noch ein Riesenspiel, das ist erstmal wieder am Freitag vor der Brust.
Jetzt ist am Samstag ein schweres Spiel.
Und Sonntag geht's weiter.
Es ist nur ein Spiel.
Was danach kommt, das wird man sehen.
Egal, was danach kommt, wir zeigen es live. Mit allen Spielen der dritten Liga, der PennyDEL und der Easy Credit BBL.
Ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schütz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schütz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps! Das
The pinch hitter, Joe Wittig, will stay in the game. He pinch hitted for Sammy Steigert, who is the pitcher, and Joe Wittig will be the new pitcher for the Capitals after they had scored 4 runs in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Joe Wittig so far in this season, he's had 2 innings pitched. Was he on the mound last game? No. In Solingen, but yeah, okay. But so he two innings pitched so far in his short stay here in Bonn. Has given up no earned runs, no runs, period. Only surrendered 1 hit with 2 strikeouts in those 2 innings pitched. And the hard-throwing American takes over for Sammy Steigert, and he'll be facing the shortstop, Zaina Enriquez, who has 2 hits to his name in this game, 2 for 3 so far, scored twice. Certainly the best player on the squad. The shortstop frequently is the best player. And he turns on that 1 foul. And apparently he is used to speed too, because he pulled that 1 foul. It was not a late swing. And Joe Wittig is a power ball thrower. Enriquez down 0-1, takes the next pitch, fouls that one just off the tip of his bat. He's already in the hole 0-2 in the top half of the 6th inning. Next pitch from Wittig is grounder, just foul past the first base bag. So Enriquez stays alive. So Kevin Lamberts is playing 2nd base now. having pinch hit last inning for Eddie Stommel. 0-2 pitch. It's a very high fly ball, and it's coming back towards us, I think. Nope. Knock, knock. Right over our heads on the roof. A big duel here between Wittig and Enriquez. Two experienced players. Next pitch. And the pop behind third base. The shortstop comes over blank. Good play there. Probably a foul ball, nevertheless. But either way, it's an out, and that's the first out of the inning. Enriquez goes down for the second time today, and that brings up the catcher, Orlando Del Muro. He is 0 for 2 today. Flew out in the right to right field, struck out, drew a walk, and he swings and misses on the first pitch. I think it's about time for a quiz, don't you think so?
You think so?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a time for a quiz. Things are settling down here.
What can I say?
Yeah.
I want a quiz.
Okay, but so
Ask our fans.
this is going to be somewhat of a long story, so we might have to spread it out. Okay.
So I watched the game. And
You
tell
watch the game. It's
story.
1-1, 1-1 count still to Del Muro, and this past week on June 2nd. The Major League Baseball in the U.S. celebrated for the very first time a Lou Gehrig Day, commemorating the Yankee first baseman in the 20s and 30s who tragically died of ALS. And he had, for up until 1995, had the consecutive game playing record. Over 2,100 games played consecutively. And ALS, the disease now in the U.S. frequently called Lou Gehrig disease, ended his career. And it was broken by Cal Ripken Jr. in the 90s. But I'd like to know, and this is good play that Daniel Lamb Hunt can stop the ball, but his throw is too late, and Del Muro will reach first base. That's going to be a tough call. What do you call that? You call that an error or a hit?
No, it's not an error. It was a hard hit. But
hard hit. We'll give it the.
But he could.
A good play, a clean play. He would have had him easily because as the catcher. The question, the quiz, with one out here, in the top half of the sixth is, who currently? Oh, and there's a nice hit there by Mike Emka, who sends Del Muro over to third base. I got to take a step back.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody plays even a whole season anymore. They're just wait. So the question is, well, there might be some breakable records. One is the consecutive hitting game streak. That's Joe DiMaggio with 56 games. My question is, currently, who has the longest hitting game streak in Major League
right
Baseball?
Now in this season?
In this season, right now, there is a decent hitting streak going on. I'll name some player names. Let's watch the action a little bit here. With runners on first and second, 2 consecutive hits there, 2 singles in a row. So who has the longest current hitting streak in the major leagues? Is it Nick Castellanos? Is it Chris Bryant? So Nick Castellanos of the Reds, Chris Bryant of the Chicago Cubs. Is it Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Braves? Or is it the Yankees' DJ LeMahieu?
Sure.
So let's let maybe the listeners.
Yeah, don't ask me. Ask the fans.
Let's see if the fans online watching this game are paying attention a little bit. It's a decent streak, but even a 56-game hitting streak it's breakable, but it's going to be very difficult, I think, in Major League Baseball, the way the pitching is nowadays, at least. So the The new batter is Matusevicius, and
2-2 is the count. By
2-2, but that's a new batter. That's 72.
No, that is Matusevicius.
I thought I have him down as number 32, but I made a mistake there. So Matusevicius is 1-2 count.
No, it's 2-2.
2-2?
Yeah.
It's not what's on the board, but thank you. Okay. 2-2 count. And he hits a hard chopper to the third baseman. Nice scoop there. Good play, Daniel Lamont.
Great play by Daniel
as
Lamont,
he gets the runner at first. Meaning now there are runners on second and third as Aimka could advance.
We have Nick Castellanos.
Nick Castellanos?
As an answer, yeah.
As an answer.
And Braves, so I guess it could
Acuna Jr. So 1-1. So repeating it for all our audience against Nick Castellanos of the Reds, Chris Bryant of the Cubs, Acuna Jr. of the Braves, or LeMahieu of the Yankees. So, well, we'll give the people a little bit of time. Maybe wait until this inning ends. Counts 0-1 to Paulo, the DH. Runners on second and third. So again, give the Wild Farmers credit. They're bouncing back every time the Capitals seem to build a nice lead. They respond, putting runners on base. So two runners in scoring position, but the DH Paulo is behind on the count 0-2 with 2 outs. Very, very squat stance there, and he hits a line drive into left center field, and there's
into the gap.
Right into the gap. That's going to score 2 runs. Don't know what the runner at third base was thinking with 2 outs. He didn't have to wait, but doesn't matter. 2 runs scored, and it's 11-9 on that RBI single by Przemysław Paluch. Nice piece of hitting. No relief here for the Capitals.
I mean, you can see that both teams have problems with their pitching.
Yeah, the pitching staffs are, well, you could say the pitcher for Dohren. They've only had the one the whole game. And there's strike 1 to Sebastian Japp. Swing and a miss. Runner on first base is Paluch, the DH. He's a fairly stout guy. Probably not expecting him to run. It's strike 2 now. And this is another thing that's a little frustrating, I would say, for Capitals pitchers, is being ahead on the count and giving up contact and hits. It's not as if they've been falling behind and they have to. And there's strike 3. So
he got
that
out
ends
of the inning.
Yeah. But 2 runs come across the plate, making it 11-9. So when we come back, we'll reveal the answer to the quiz, the current hitting streak in the Major League Baseball. Keep on writing those answers on it's on Instagram, right?
no, it's YouTube.
I tried to look. I couldn't write anything on YouTube. I was on the YouTube link today, and I was even logged in, and I was trying to go into the comment section.
But
I
the
couldn't.
people are chatting there, so it's working.
Yeah, obviously, but what's wrong with my computer? Okay, we'll be back in a few moments. It's Caps TV in Bonn. Oh, we're back in Bonn, and there's some changes here in Dohren, or for the Dohren team, I should say. A new pitcher will be who was playing center field up until now, and that is Edvardis Matasevicius. And we're trying to figure out how the rest of the outfield now will look. If it was simply because there's a left-hander in center field now, that can't be the previous pitcher, unlikely. I have to see maybe from the previous game who was number 8. So I think so Pocho Cabral has moved from left to center field. That's number 8. But I can't see who is playing left field currently. We'll try and get that to you as soon as possible. But the quiz, let's get the answer there. Who has the current longest hitting streak in the Major League Baseball? And the answer is, drum roll, Nick Castellanos from the Cincinnati Reds with a 21 game hitting streak currently. Not bad, and by far the longest one at the moment. People won't start really paying attention too much until he reaches 30. If he reaches 30, he's done. That's a good job for a hitting streak. So we have a new pitcher, and that's right-hander Matusevicius, who throws strike 1 to Leonard Vela here in the bottom half of the 6th. Game still very close, 11-9, after Dohren responded with 2 runs in the top half of the inning. And Matusevicius with another strike. They're seeing a much different pitcher here compared to Jazz. More velocity.
Yeah, he's very experienced. He plays in Dohren for several years. And he plays in Dohren for several years. He's a very experienced player. So, I mean, he's their backup for everything. I mean, for pitching.
Jack of all trades, hitting. Utility player, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
A Lithuanian. And Dohren, a pretty good mix of nationalities. Germans, of course, Dominican, Mexicans, a Lithuanian, a Pole. So compared to Dortmund, the game I commentated last week, which was simply German and Spanish, I don't know if there was a third nationality on the team. So much broader mix. And Brandon Stevens pitched last game. Where is he from?
I don't know.
I think he's Canadian. And that one's inside.
So he goes to a full count.
Full count. 3-2 to Leonard Vela, who comes back after falling behind 0-2. In the on-deck circle is Kevin Lamberts. And Vela with a ground ball to the third baseman, who throws across, takes him off the bag, and first baseman just...
They have a little problems with the throws to the first baseman.
Yeah, the third baseman, Sebastian Japp, has had a fair share of problems throwing it straight to first base. But they managed to get the out for the first out of the inning, and that brings up Kevin Lamberts. He singled in his first at-bat, came around to score. In the 4-run 5th inning, and his check swing a strike. Well, Capitals really have had their hands full, partially self-made. Could have scored a few more runs on occasions, and simply the pitching has not been up to the standards that Max Schmitz has set for the team.
And obviously not for the opponents, because it was not that difficult for them to score 9 runs. So.
No. 1-1 count to Lamberts. He swings and misses. Goes through that one, and it's Now a 1-2 count. So the Capitals already have 4 games under their belt, and this is only 5. And this is the first time that Dohren has played on the field. And
this is the 6th game for Bonn.
Yeah,
and
they've had 5 under their belts. 5 under their belts.
Yeah.
This is the 6th one, and this is the second game. They're playing the second game. So Capitals have been playing longer, even if it's only a week. But it makes a difference when you're playing real games and not just some kind of a practice game or only practicing. The count remains 2-2. As Matusevicius making it difficult for the bottom half of the order, the lower half part of the order here of the Capitals. He gets the sign. And that one's called strike 3. Is throws the batter. Oh, that's the second out of the inning, and that brings up Eric Blank, who had a single in his last at-bat. I'd like to be on the Bonn bench at the moment because I can imagine they're a little frustrated. I mean, it's not like the second inning in here, a couple things go wrong. It's just nothing has been really going great.
Yeah, I mean,
they're scoring well. They're scoring nicely.
It does not feel like there is energy.
No.
You know? So
no, not much energy in the crowd, but of course it makes sense.
I mean, half of the crowd is gone already.
Yeah,
so.
They may have thought also after the first game that, okay, well, what's going to happen? But still, it's a nice sized crowd. We don't have a great day weather-wise, so it probably also it's like, yeah, okay, we've seen our game. And Eric Blank checks his swing there. And the count goes to 2-1. Be very curious to see how Max Schmitz deals with the pitching the remainder of this game. It's still 3 innings to go. Can't imagine that he would immediately take out Joe Vittich, but at some point, you just got to make sure that no more runs are scored because it's only a 2-run lead, and it's not like Bonn are, putting massive innings together. When they do, but then they've had a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings.
I mean, he has youngsters on the bench still with Noah Lind and Paul Schmitz, but he could also bring
check swing back to the pitcher and 1, 2, 3 innings.
He could also bring Maurice Wilhelm. He pitched in Solingen, but 3 or 4 innings, so that might be a possibility.
But the bottom half of the 6th is a fairly easy affair, and for the Wild Farmers, and the score is 11-9. We're back in Bonn in the Rheinaue as we enter the 7th inning with the Wild Farmers, the bottom part of the lineup coming up to the plate. Leading off is Yannick Buyala. He'll be followed by Wester Barrio Cabral and then Johannes Petzold in the hole. Joe Wittek still on the mound for the Capitals. He took over last inning for Sammy Steigert, and the score is, the count is 1-1 to Buyala. So far this game, Buyala is, he's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Count 2-1, first batter this inning, and the count now goes to 3-1. So last inning, Wittek was getting ahead of the hitters quickly. This time he's having some problems. There's a weak swing and a miss. For strike two, 3-2 now to the Dohren right fielder. The high-scoring affair here, 11-9, and he hits a ground ball to the shortstop. It takes a weird bounce, but Blank sticks with it and throws out Buyala for the first out of the inning. And that brings up I believe in the meantime, the center fielder, moving from left, is Barrio Cabral. So Cabral, he got a single in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. And he takes strike 1. There's a high foul ball down the right field line, but that's probably out of play. Yeah, it is. And Wittek gets ahead on the count, 0-2. Oh. So Cabral, he Dominican. Last season batted .314. And now 0-2 pitch to the center fielder. And he hits a grounder that Joe Wittek smothers, but can't throw out in time. Acrobatic play by Wittek, and probably the only one that even had a chance of getting him out. And on his back with a decent throw to first base, but simply that ball was too slow, and Cabral gets a single, an infield single. So with one out and still, Johannes Petzold, the second baseman, turns to bunt, and ball 1. Petzold is 1 for 2, reached base also on an error. And swings, strike 1. 1-1. And the lights are on here in the Rheinaue. There's an overcast day all day. Not a bit of sun. The score 11-9. The Capitals, he squares and bunts again and pulls back, takes ball 2. Three and 1. The runner on first showing no signs of wanting to advance, and it's still early and an important run. He wouldn't want to take yourselves out of a situation of getting that run. And there's ball 4. So Petzel draws a walk. And we have 2 runners on again. That brings up the shortstop. Enriquez, who has scored twice with 2 hits, 2 for 4 today. Wittig winds up and foul ball. Strike 1. He faced Wittig in the last inning and popped up behind third base to the shortstop. That one's outside. Ball 1. 1-1 now the count. Score is 11-9. There are 2 runners on, so the tying run is, and there's a good play, and they're going to get the double play as the runner on second drifted too far away, thinking that was going to be a hit, and a little bit of poor base running there by Barrio Cabral ends a potential threat, and after 6.5 innings, the Capitals lead 11-9. This is Caps TV. The Wild Farmers had a chance there to do some damage, but they only damaged themselves or their chances on that line drive out to right fielder Wilson Lee. And the runner on second base simply believed that ball was going to be a hit and was moving to third, and he was doubled up on second base. So Joe Wittig gets out of a small jam. And Wilson Lee, the man who caught that line drive for the second out, then the double up on the third, is standing in the batter's box to lead off the 7th inning. First pitch he takes for ball 1. Next pitch, swing and a miss. Wild Farmers have a good player in their shortstop. Enriquez has hit the ball solidly on almost the whole game. Defensively, a good player. That one's also inside, like the very first pitch. forcing Wilson Lee to pull his knees in. The count is now 2-1. So Matusevicius in his second inning of pitching. That's fouled back over our heads. Count is now even at 2-2. Inside for ball 3. Full count in this final of 3 games that were played in the Bundesliga this weekend, or this Sunday, I should say. Regensburg defeated Tübingen 10-0, and Mainz won in Mannheim 21-11. A high-scoring affair. And Wilson Lee fouls that one back. Stay alive. And the count remains full. But we have had 2 home runs this game, the Capitals, but they have not been particularly hot. The first Dohren pitcher, although had many control problems, was getting a lot of weak hits, and this ball is on the warning track, and Buyala leaps and grabs it, although I don't think it was going to go over. It looked like it was more like it was going to go over his head. And the first out of the inning on a long fly ball to right field. Vinny Arlens comes up to the plate. He's hit a home run, has a single. He is 2 for 3. Takes strike 1 on the outside of the corner. That one's outside for ball 1. So obviously the Dohren pitcher needs to be careful not to get one too much in the heart of the plate, because Arlens has shown he can hit it out of here. That one's called strike. And the Matusevicius steps off the mound and he goes behind it every pitch, and now Arlen steps out of the batter's box. One out here in the bottom half of the 7th. And Arlen swings, misses, and they have to throw to first because the catcher didn't hold on to the ball, and that's a strikeout. Oh, 2 up, 2 down. It's Terrell Joyce, who also has a home run in this game. So the batters, the 3 and 4 hitters for the Capitals have both homered. He was hit by a pitch in his last plate appearance. He's 1 for 2 in all, having been hit once, got to reach base on an error. He flied out to left field and hit a home run in the 4th inning. Well, the score is still 11-9. A big swing there, and the count's even now 1-1 to Terrell Joyce, the center fielder. another cut. This one tipped into the glove of the catcher. Originally 250 fans were here. It's probably 100 now. But they make some noise. They're making noise, and that's good. And he slaps that one down the right field line. And the right fielder, Buyala, slides, but does not catch the ball. Can only barely see him sliding into the right field corner. But Joyce stays alive. Count still 1-2. Matusevicius delivers. That one's inside. Ball 2. Two and 2 count with 2 outs. 2-run lead for the home team. That one is also in the dirt, and he can hold a swing, Joyce, and it's now a full count, 3-2. As Matusevicius takes another short tour behind the mound. Well, pitchers have rituals, and apparently that is his. I don't think he's ever just taken the ball, put his foot on the rubber, and thrown. Joyce hits that one to the third baseman. That's always an adventure, but this one is thrown for an out. And the Capitals go down 1-2-3. We're heading into the 8th inning. This is Caps TV.
Magenta Sport.
Ja, ich glaube, wir müssen von Spiel zu Spiel schauen.
Ich glaube, wir werden uns von Spiel zu Spiel steigern.
Nächstes Spiel angreifen. Wir haben noch ein Riesenspiel, jetzt erstmal wieder am Freitag vor der Brust.
Jetzt ist am Samstag ein schweres Spiel.
Und Sonntag geht's weiter.
Es ist nur ein Spiel.
Was danach kommt, das wird man sehen.
Und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schutz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps! Das ist...
Joe Wittig returns to the mound for the 8th inning with the following Dohren batters coming to the plate, and that is at the top of the order. It's going to be Del Muro, Eimke, and Matusevicius.
For Frank, the father of Eric, he also answered the question, but by email, Castellanos, 21 games. And he said that there's another great trivia question.
Yeah.
Ted Williams, Red Sox, was the last hitter to hit over 400 this season,
Yeah.
hitting 469
Yeah.
But he did not win the AL MVP. Who did?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, we'll save that for next week. So, and Del Muro with the ground ball to Eric Blank, who good throw, good play there by Leonard Feller, digging that one out of the dirt. So, 1 pitch, 1 out, and it's. It's the top half of the 8th inning with the score 11-9, and Mike Aimke steps to the plate. Today he is gets called that was a strike. I would have. And he lines one to Wilson Lee, and that gets past the right fielder. And Aimke's off to the races. Wilson Lee has to get it, and that's going to be a 3-bagger for the first baseman. And all of a sudden, the tying run comes to the plate, Matusevicius. So Wilson Lee took a big chance there with the diving attempt, and it got past him. And that's the danger, particularly in right or left field, is there's not going to be anybody nearby. And that one didn't pay off. So Aimke with the triple, we'll give him the triple. And Matusevicius represents the tying run at the plate. So Joe Wittich, again, has a problem on his hands. And 2-0 the count. To now the pitcher of Dohren. Runner on third base with one out. Joe Wittich gets the sign, and that's a swing that was he attempted to hold back, and so it looked like a completely weak swing, but counts 2-1 now. And the Capitals look to get the second out of this inning. And there's a low fastball fouled back, and the count now even 2-2. So Joe Wittich bounces back after falling behind 2-0. Runner on third base is Aimke, who just got a triple. And that one's in the dirt for ball 3. So count goes full for Joe Wittich. The pitcher, the batter, is Edvardas Matusevicius. Full count pitch, and there's a grounder to Eric Blanku with a good sliding stop. Strong throw, but not in time, and an RBI single. And the game now is a 1-run game with the leading run coming to the plate. And that is, so we have a new hitter for, this is not the DH anymore. It's number, find that out quickly enough. What's his number, 28? '21. So we're trying to find out who the current batter is, and he is the left fielder. 21. Do we have a 21 on what little numbers I have? Okay. He's playing left field. I do know that much.
Brandon Stevens, the pitcher from the game before.
Oh, Brandon Stevens, and one out at second, but not at first, and the second out of the inning to get the lead runner. So Brandon Stevens bats for the DH, Paluch, and hits into a fielder's choice. 4-6. So now runner still at first base. This time, though, it's Stevens. Stepping into the plate is Sebastian Yap, who has 1 hit and 3 strikeouts. And there's a out there, 6-4 to end the top half of the 8th. But 1 run crosses the plate, and the lead has shrunk to just 1. With the Capitals up 11-10. This is Caps TV. It's the bottom half of the 8th inning now, and the Capitals have seen their lead yet again shrink. They have been up ahead by 5 runs, 6-1. They went ahead 11-7, and now it's 11-10. So the Capitals have been unable to hold a lead much this game, and we're heading into the bottom half of the 8th. Stepping to the plate will be Daniel Lamb Hunt, the third baseman, who has been hit by a pitch and walked and hit 2 choppers back to the pitcher. He's 0 for 2, and he takes strike 1. So some runs would do good to calm the nerves of the home fans, Capital fans, and also those people up in here in the booth. And Daniel Lamb Hunt can get it started with a hit. And he hits a hard shot to the shortstop, and Enriquez gets it, and it has no call yet from seemingly, and they do call him out. So that was a bang play at first place, but an excellent play by the shortstop Enriquez to throw out Daniel Lamb Hunt. Not quite sure what the first base umpire was thinking. Maybe he didn't have a good angle, if he thought the foot was dragged off, but it was out. And that brings up Joe Wittich, who entered the game in the 5th inning for Sami Steigert. First pitch is ball 1. Matusevicius comes with the throw, and it's ball 2. Joe Wittich so far has drawn a walk on a plate appearance. Two and 0 count to the Capitals pitcher, facing his counterpart Matusevicius. And there's a line shot to left field. Joe Wittich gets a single. That slightly outside pitch, he just took it the other way. Good piece of hitting. So runner on first base for the Capitals. After 2 1-2-3 innings by Matusevicius, that's the first hit he's given up. Stepping to the plate, Nick Michelli. Michelli has done well. 2 hits, a walk, 2 for 3. Joe Wittich with a modest lead. He won't be running. Nick Michelli gets and takes strike 1, 1-1. And it's a 1-run ball game here. There's one last chance for the Wild Farmers, and the Capitals are looking to extend their lead. Nick Michelli takes ball 2. It's 2-1 count now. Score is 11-10. The easy game that they had the first time in game 1 did not repeat itself in game 2. fouls that one into home plate. Now the count's 2-2. Joe Wittich with the single just before Michelli. And the fans here making noise again. 1-run lead. Next pitch comes, that one inside for ball 3. So 3-2 count now.
Aber wenn du da drauf schlägst, dann schlägst du immer drüber. Dann kommt da so eklig Golfswing. Dann pfeift er noch rein, dann musst du da unten irgend so ein Ding, das ja entweder ein Grounder oder...
Full count, 1 out. Nick Michelli waits for the pitch. Matusevicius throws and fouls that one back down the right field line, out of play. We'll redo the full count. Matusevicius wants a new ball. Gets it. Takes a short excursion behind the mound. Joe Wittich on first base for the Capitals. Nick Michelli looking to get a hit, advance the runner. And Wittich runs, and on that play, and that's just enough to distract the second baseman, and the ball gets past the second baseman, and that was a brilliant piece of baseball, you could say. Sending him on that, he had not sent him to run, and then he decides to run, and Nick Michelli hits it right at second base, and that distracted Wittich distracted the second baseman enough. So we got runners on first and third now. Brilliant piece of hitting there by Michelli. That turned out good. And coming to the plate is the first baseman, Lennart Vella. Now with runners on first and third, only 1 out. Capitals can get that run back that they surrendered last inning, and hopefully more. Throw over to first base, Nick Michelli, a base-stealing threat. Getting another runner in scoring position could be good. Maybe even a double steal. Be risky. Right. Would they be willing to do a safety squeeze? No. No sign of a bunt there. Ball 1 to left shown of causing problems for the relief pitcher Matusevicius. Throws over to first base. So he's very concerned about Nick Michelli. Big secondary lead by Michelli, but ball 2. The traffic is causing some problems for the relief pitcher who had thrown 1, 2, 3 innings before this in the 6th and 7th innings. But now that there are runners on base, he has things to think about, people to look at around him. Next pitch to Vela, and he hits a fly ball to deep left field. Joe Wittich tags up, and he'll score easily on that. Sacrifice fly by Lennart Vela. Nice piece of hitting there. Exactly how you draw it up in a textbook, so to speak. That fly ball almost sent Stevens back to the warning track. And so now the score, a 2-run lead again. It's 12-10. And it's going to be Kevin Lamberts coming to the plate, stepping to the plate with that runner on first base still, Nick Michelli. Now I could see Michelli trying to steal. Now that they get their run across the plate, put himself in scoring position possibly. Then a hit by Lamberts. Two outs now after the sacrifice fly by Vela. That pitch is outside before ball one. Well, count is 1-0. With all these thoughts about Michelli stealing, it probably is a big enough distraction for the Dohren pitcher. He doesn't have the ease that he's had before. And there's a line drive right to the third baseman to end the bottom half of the 8th inning. But the Capitals plate 1, and the lead is 2 again. And we're heading into the top half of the 9th inning. And if looking to see who will close the door, probably Wittich. We'll be back in a few moments. This is Caps TV.
Nur bei Magenta Sport.
Ja, ich glaube, wir müssen von Spiel zu Spiel schauen.
Ich glaube, wir werden uns von Spiel zu Spiel steigern.
Nächstes Spiel angreifen. Wir haben noch ein Riesenspiel, das ist erstmal wieder am Freitag vor der Brust.
Jetzt ist am Samstag ein schweres Spiel.
Und Sonntag geht's weiter.
Es ist nur ein Spiel.
Was danach kommt, das wird man sehen.
Egal, was danach kommt, wir zeigen es live. Mit allen Spielen der dritten Liga, der Penny DEL und der Easy Credit BBL. Nur bei Magenta Sport.
Ja, ich glaube, wir müssen von Spiel.
All coming to the bottom or the top half of the 9th inning. The Capitals trying to close this game. They leave Joe Wittich on the mound. He took over in the 5th from Sammy Steigert in the 5th inning. So it's a long relief performance. And the first pitch to the bottom of the order here, and this is the right fielder Buyala. Takes ball 1, strike 1. Buyala, Barrio, Cabral, and Petzold, the 3 batters in the schedule to hit for the Wild Farmers. So were you surprised? And there's a pop-up in the center, in the right field, sorry, and Wilson Lee catches that one easily for the first out of the inning.
So you wanted to say what?
I was going to ask you, are you surprised that Joe Wittich remains in?
Yes, I am, because, I mean, we have young players.
Yep.
I mean, for example, somebody like Noah Lind, you can always bring him, but of course not as a closer. He's too young for that, you know. You cannot put that pressure on him. So I would have expected that they bring in between after Steigert somebody like Noah, and then you know,
and then save
and have the experienced guy.
And that one just bounce. Took
Yeah,
a
but it was a
bad bounce,
bad
really
hop,
bad bounce,
yeah.
because that was looked like an easy out for Lennart Vella, but all of a sudden it just went over his shoulder.
That's Mann.
Thankfully, it didn't hit him in the face, because that was face high, head high bounce that it took after it looked like it was going to be around his letters. So Cabral reaches first base on a single.
So a hole in the field. So
Yeah,
something like that.
hit a rock, hit a hole, something, but it took a bad bounce for the first baseman. And so the tying run comes to the plate. Johannes Petzold, who takes a big cut for strike one.
Yeah, so to finish it, of course, you
Yep.
need somebody experienced like Wittig
Yep.
as at the end. I mean, he could have brought Nick Michelli or Eric Brank, who sometimes closes, you know.
Yeah.
So
He turns, shows a bunt, but pulls back, and it's 1-1. Don't know why he would try and bunt in this situation with 2 runs behind, but may have just been a deke. Count is 1-1. There's 1 out. Runner on first base. Tying run at the plate for Dohren. And there's a line drive to center fielder Terrell Joyce. He gets under it, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. Just 1 out away for Joe Wittig to end
this very
this
long game.
very long game, very high-scoring game, 12-10 currently. But we come to the top of the lineup again for the Wild Farmers, and that means Zaina Henriquez, the shortstop. He has 2 hits to his name, and he hits a line drive right into the right center field gap, or right center field. Runner advances to third base, and the tying run is now at first base
Yep.
for the Wild Farmers. So it's not going to be easy for Joe Wittig. And it's not easy for Max Schmitz, where you have to think is, if he's out of gas and now he's facing the heart of the order, but you don't really have any alternatives. It seemed like Maurice Wilhelm is not going to pitch. So now the catcher steps into the plate, and that is Orlando Del Muro. He represents the go-ahead run in this situation. That one's low, ball 1. So he has drawn a walk and singled in this game. In all, he's 1 for 4.
So now Wittig can show how capable he is.
Yeah.
So
There's a shot just past third base,
past the
foul.
bag, yeah.
Woo! And that would have sent the shortstop. He would have probably well, let's not think about it.
Nope.
Because that would have gone into the corner. And that'd be the question now, whether Daniel Lamhunt might not want to guard the line a little more closely. And even the left fielder, Nick Michelli, is fairly far over to the foul line. And there's another foul ball. Count now 1-2.
Okay, 1 strike.
1
away.
strike in the game. It's a victory for the Capitals.
A hard victory.
Hard,
I just want to
hard-earned
say,
victory.
even if the game ends now or later,
Yeah.
stay tuned, because we will have an interview with Coach Max Schmitz immediately here on our live stream, immediately
okay.
after the end of the game. So
Okay. In German or in English?
In German.
In German. And there's a ground ball to Eric Blank, and he'll throw over to first base. Strong throw for the final out of the game. And that was could almost hear a collective sigh of relief from the bench, from the fans, here up in the booth. And the Bonn Capitals win a very, very tough victory, hard-earned victory. 12-10, and that's all for this game. There's going to be an interview with the manager coach Max Schmitz immediately following this. It will be in German. Also es wird ein Interview gleich anschließend sofort mit Coach, mit Manager, Trainer Max Schmitz. Das findet sofort statt. Also bleibt dran und informiert euch, was eigentlich der Manager von diesem Doubleheader hält. Also ganz einfach 16:1, 16:1 in the first game, 12:10 with massive pitching problems in the second game. Also Max Schmitz wird sich nicht so zufrieden geben mit der Leistung. Aber hört rein, ich bin hier weg. Take care, we'll see you next Saturday and Sunday.
Ja, Ton ist da. Ja, Max Schmitz, das war ein hartes Stück Arbeit. Das hattet ihr wohl nicht erwartet, oder?
Ja, also in der Vergangenheit war es schon so, dass wir oft gegen Dohren hart umkämpfte Spiele gespielt haben. Ich weiß, dass die ein großes Baseballherz haben und wirklich sich nie selbst aufgeben. Auch nach dem ersten Spiel, was relativ eindeutig war, wussten wir, dass das zweite Spiel tough wird. Und das habe ich auch ein bisschen irgendwie gejinxt vor dem Spiel und habe das meinen Spielern gesagt. Hey, erwartet nicht, dass das genauso einfach ist. Und ich sollte leider recht behalten, auch nicht gut für unsere Nerven, also für meine und die der Zuschauer.
Gehen wir noch kurz aufs erste Spiel ein. Das war ja eine klare Angelegenheit. Da habt ihr im Grunde davon profitiert, dass ihr offensiv einfach stark seid.
Ja, die offensive Stärke, klar, da haben wir dann auch ein paar Punkte zwischen uns gelegt und dann auch zugesehen, dass unser Pitching da nichts zulässt, ne, und diese Lücke genauso groß hält. Also fantastisches Pitching von Sascha Koch und unsere Offensive durch die Bank weg, hervorragend. Auch wenn wir von der Bank bringen, Anthony direkt seinen ersten Bundesliga-Homerun gehauen. Also da sind sehr, sehr viele gute Sachen passiert heute. Ja,
herzlichen Glückwunsch an Anthony Clinzing, seinen ersten Bundesliga-Homerun. Aber Pitching war dann im zweiten Spiel nicht so ganz überragend, würde ich sagen.
Ja, würde ich tatsächlich auch gar nicht so sagen. Ich finde, Wilson Lee hat ein grandioses Spiel gepitcht. Ich würde sagen, das war ein bisschen unglücklich. Er hat wirklich taffe Pitches gemacht. Da muss man den Dohrener Hittern und Schlagleuten wirklich einfach mal den Hut ziehen. Das war wirklich gut, was sie da abgeliefert haben. Ich finde, Wooly hat wirklich gute Pitches gemacht und wurde dann mit nicht so hartem Kontakt belohnt, der dann aber die Lücken gefunden hat. Und auch durch die Bank weg, Sammy genau das gleiche, Strikes geschmissen. Joey ebenfalls, ich meine, der kommt von 2 Days Rest und pitcht hier 4 Innings für uns. Von daher, I tip my hat to my guys und meine Pitcher und alles, was am Ende zählt, ist, dass wir mehr Punkte haben als der Gegner und das war dann jetzt am Ende der Fall.
Also nach den 6 Spielen jetzt innerhalb von 8 Tagen bist du rundum zufrieden?
Ja, durchaus. Also 6-0 Bilanz, das ist das, was wir gesagt haben, als wir reingegangen sind. Das ist das, was wir jetzt erreicht haben nach den 8 Tagen und jetzt gilt es erstmal eine ganz kleine Pause. Morgen haben die Jungs frei und am Dienstag wird dann das nächste Ziel, und zwar die Spiele gegen Paderborn, in Angriff genommen.
Vielen Dank, Max Schmitz. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen, ihr im Livestream. Und wir sehen uns am Samstag wieder. Um 19 Uhr ist ein Abendspiel gegen Paderborn. Und tschüss.